That's facts. Lots of things going on in the NBA though. So I'm gonna start out with how do you think about John Wall joining the Clippers?
Yo, that shit's crazy. You know what I'm really excited about?
What are you excited about?
Like Bradley Beal kind of like opted out of his player option. So I'm just kind of like imagining like him being a shooting guard, like Paul George being power forward, Kawhi being small forward, like just that like those four players on a team. That'd be insane.
I mean, that would be insane, but like the calf though.
Bradley Beal has chased the bag enough. I feel like he can sacrifice some monetary value to win a ring. What do you say?
I don't think he's gonna do that. I actually have a friend of mine who thinks that he's just gonna re-sign with the Wizards.
I don't think he's gonna do that. I think he's done enough. You know, honestly, like one more place that I feel like he could end up is the Celtics. I'll tell you what, just hear me out. His relationship with Jason Tatum goes back so far.
That's
He
facts.
might want to team up with him to like, like Celtics made it into the finals. Like teaming up with him could like just enhance their roster for sure.
That is true. I don't know. How's his defense though?
I mean, it's nothing like amazing, but I wouldn't call him a bad defender either. But like I feel like his like offensive like output kind of like exceeds that in a way. I don't know.
I don't know. I think my thing with the Celtics, right,
Yeah.
is that their entire identity is kind of based around their defense. And I'm not saying that there's no offense involved in what they do. I mean, they have their offensive options.
Yeah.
I mean, Grant Williams, he can shoot threes. Jason Tatum, he's a 26 point per game scorer.
He's also 19 years old too.
That's true. He's
Yeah,
turning 19 next year.
yeah,
Shout out JT. JB is another scoring option. They have their scoring
yeah,
options, but scoring is always secondary, and that did hurt them in the finals. I mean,
yeah.
they had some atrocious shooting percentages. But I do think that bringing in Bradley Beal, I don't know how his defense is. To be honest, I love watching him play, but I just have not seen him play a stellar defense. And the first thing for every Celtics player, the identity that they've created is they need to be very good defensive players.
Okay, let me ask you something. That's fair. But do you think if they integrate like Bradley Beal into like the rotation and into like the Celtics culture, do you think that could like change how he defends and how he, like rotates whenever they're on like a defensive end?
That is true, actually. How tall is Bradley Beal?
He's 6'4".
Okay, he's 6'4", so he's actually a
He's
pretty
about
good.
like John Wall's height. Yeah.
He's a pretty good sized guard then. So it's possible. But I do think that you'd want to bring in someone that is more versatile defensively. Now, I want to ask you something because a very good defensive guard recently got traded to the Hawks. How do you feel about that dog shit trade that swapped Danilo
Wait,
Gallinari for DeJounte
can
Murray
you just take
to
a
the
moment of
Hawks?
silence for Supreet? I think he needs it. He was
R.I.P. Supreet.
There were rumors that he was crying in his bathroom, so prayers to him.
My dog's going through it right now.
I don't know. I feel like we talked about in the last episode where we're like, okay, if Murray's going to the Hawks, they're at least getting John Collins. But who they get? Who they get?
They got the Italian stallion
The Italian.
Danilo Gallinari.
I mean, Gallner is he's a decent player, but like he's not like on Murray's level. Like Murray was an all
Dude,
star
I
this
didn't
year,
think I didn't think trading John Collins for DeJounte Murray was doing enough.
and they kind of downgraded
And
on
and
that.
they and they took Danilo Gallinari. No
They,
offense to my guy, but for DeJounte Murray, one of the best young point guards in the NBA, that's absurd.
You know what else is crazy? Ever since like Tim Duncan retired in 2018, that whole organization is going so downhill. They trade Kawhi, they traded Tony Parker, like they traded DeMar, like things with like LaMarcus Aldridge didn't work out, and they recently just traded Murray. So like the rebuild is keep it's constant. It's constant.
I
It
mean,
just keeps
that's
on going.
facts. We did do a Spurs segment last week, so
Yeah,
we did a massive
fantastic. Yeah,
Spurs segment
yeah,
last week. Check out the Spurs segment.
yeah,
Everything you want to know about the Spurs from a Spurs fan.
yeah.
But at the same time, right, we talked about Kawhi and basically how he left, but that was kind of on his own terms. He demanded a trade. So you can't really look at the Kawhi situation and say that was their fault.
I mean, I
Um,
mean, I mean, like,
it was their fault,
yeah.
right? But at the same time, like it was Kawhi demanding a trade. So it wasn't like they made a stupid decision there. They had to give up something for
I
somebody,
mean,
and they
they
got.
made a stupid decision for him to like request a trade. If you don't treat your players well, they're gonna want to leave. It's like it's common sense.
That's true. We also know that Kawhi's kind of a diva, though. You said that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about? I mean, yeah. How do you feel about giving up DeMar in that situation? I know you got Kawhi, but say they didn't win a championship, would you have missed DeMar?
So like in this hypothetical situation, we trade DeMar for Kawhi, and then he comes. We don't win a championship, and then he leaves and goes to LA. I feel pretty fucking depressed. Not gonna lie. I mean, like I don't know. I mean, like it's definitely a gamble. Like in this case, like high risk, high reward. We got the reward, but like, dude, we were just not getting it done with DeMar. Like like losing to LeBron like every year in the playoffs, getting that name LeBronto. It's just not like my thing, and I don't think any Toronto fans really like that either.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we needed something big to happen. Hopefully, we can make some noise in the East next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure. And there's actually something that's interesting about all these episodes we've done so far is we talk so much about the Celtics.
Yeah.
We've spoken about almost every franchise, and I feel like we have not spoken enough about the Raptors. So I want to know, I want you to give me your top three all-time Raptors.
Top three.
Yes, sir.
Number one, Kawhi Leonard. Number two, Vince Carter. Number three, Kyle Lowry.
That's fair. I thought you would have said Vince Carter first. Wasn't he the Air Jordan of Canada?
We won a championship with him, so I don't think,
That is true. Didn't he like demand a trade out of New Jersey or something? Oh, sorry, out of Toronto to New Jersey.
yeah. I mean, we did get some like solid assets, I
Hmm.
think, from him. I don't know, Vince Carter, like when we talk about Canada, like one of the first names that comes to mind is Drake. Like his OVO culture and him being kind of a global ambassador to like the team and the city. And
Hmm.
which is cool, I mean, we always need that kind of attention because LA has so many stars, New York has so many stars. Recently Boss got Gucci Mane, he transferred from the Milwaukee Bucks. So that's kind of like our thing. And we do have some other artists, like we have like Justin Bieber, we have The Weeknd, but he's kind of like our main guy. He's like always there courtside. He's always like mocking players. He's massaging Nick Nurse's shoulders. He's doing all those good things.
He's showing up in the Kentucky locker room.
Yeah, exactly. But like before him, our main, like thing was Vince Carter. Like
Hmm.
his fucking dunks are incredible. Like I don't know if you remember this, but when he was on Team USA, he just like jumped over this like 7 foot guy, and that guy didn't
Hmm.
even move, and he's posterized, which is fucking insane.
Insane. I've
Yeah,
seen that dunk so many
it's
times. It's just
crazy. We
unreal.
gotta make a mix of that.
Yes,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Check out our mixes. We got some wild mixes. The underscore can basketball. Check out our IG.
Also YouTube too. YouTube be popping.
Absolutely.
Got our
Please
12
check out. We got
subscribers.
a new Rocco, Robert Covington mix. Please check that out. Absolute 3 and D goat.
Yo, I feel like he's not like that appreciated at what he does. Like
He's so
he's
underrated.
so underrated. Like he plays good defense, and like he shoots threes. That's like his role.
Yo, I actually saw he was the leading scorer on the 10 and 72 76ers.
Oh shit, that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's pretty
tremendous.
wild. He averaged 13.3 points per game.
Damn, that's
10 and
so,
72.
so,
Hey,
so
trust the
that's a
process.
lot of L's. Okay, let me ask you something. Let me ask you
For
something.
sure.
What do you think is more likely to happen first? A team going 82 and 0, or a team going 0 and 82?
I think 0 and 82. Let me explain why. I think that there are a lot of teams since Sam Hinkie did that thing. First of all, it's a hilarious fucking name. Imagine being called Sam Hinkie. Man, that dude was leading the 76ers to absolute poverty. So, first things first, that man
I'm
set
the
the
realist.
he set he set the precedent for just tanking, right? And people have gotten pretty close. I mean, I think the Charlotte Bobcats had like 8 wins or something like that.
Like in the whole season?
I think they did.
I thought the 10 win was like the lowest.
No, no, the Bobcats had like actually hold up. Talk about something. I'm gonna think about what the actual thing was.
Yeah,
Worst.
so I mean like the closest we have gotten to an 82 season were, the Golden State Warriors when they had that 73-9 season, and the great 1995-1996 Chicago Bulls where they won 72 games and lost 10. So I don't really see any team in the for future coming close to it. We could definitely see 60 team wins, but
Mhm.
I don't know. But like I would have to agree with you. It's definitely I feel like maybe the Detroit Pistons might be able to accomplish that next season.
The Detroit Pistons are going to be good next season, though. Oh, wait, actually, before we get going, the worst record ever, and I think this was
So we
2012.
just went.
It was the
Out of every franchise, of course, it's the Minnesota
so
Timberwolves.
in like the more modern day era,
Yeah,
in 2012, I think that was a lockout year. The
yeah.
Charlotte Bobcats went 7-59. And then apparently in 1973, the Sixers went 9-73, but they got very close in 2016
Yeah,
where they went 10 and
they
72.
very close to beating that record,
Yeah, yeah.
that infamous record.
So that's what I'm saying. We've had some crazy things. I just think it's easier to underperform than overperform. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Do you think a team will ever go 16-0 in the playoffs?
I mean, Golden State Warriors were very close in like 2017.
Oh, and the Lakers are really close in either 2000 or 2001, I think.
Oh yeah, with the Kobe Shaq duo. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then they lost to Allen Iverson. So I think
That
it was
was the only
2001. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was insane. I think that, imagine just a team sweeping every single round.
It's
It's
possible.
I know, but it's
Yeah,
just insane.
it's
Like
hard.
you think about how hard the playoffs are. You have all these teams are just all competitive,
Yeah.
right? They've done a lot to even get into the tournament and then to kill it up
Yeah.
until that point. It's
Yeah,
unreal.
fun fact about that. So like in the 2017 playoffs, when like the Warriors like swept the first three rounds, they got in the
Hmm.
finals. They won the first three games. And then like, somehow LeBron Kyrie stepped up for one game and it was like 3-1. And all the Cavs fans were like, Cavs in seven. It's like what? It's not happening this year.
I feel bad because I'm like,
Yeah.
that was as well as any team was gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, that was as well as any team did do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you were facing one of the greatest teams in history, and you think the greatest team in history. So I don't know. Do you think there's going to be a team comparable to that in the near future?
Well, I mean, like free agency, like like I don't really like old heads' perspectives on a lot of things, but one thing they do talk about, which is true, is how like integrated free agency is. Like all these motherfuckers are friends. You know what I mean? Like they probably talk to each other like on a daily basis. Like LeBron, like D Wade, Chris Bosh, that kind of. They were all friends, so like it made it easy for them to play. Like back in the 90s and 80s, all those motherfuckers hated each other. Larry Bird, have you seen
Yeah.
the
I,
Showtime, the winning Showtime on
oh,
HBO?
actually, I have.
It's
I
it's
need
a
to see
great
it.
show. It's kind of on like Magic and like the Lakers dynasty. Definitely should
Hmm.
watch it. Magic and Bird fucking hated each other. Oh my
Hmm.
god. Like Magic was so mad that Larry Bird won like the Rookie of the Year, and that same year when the Lakers won the championship, Bird was just in his like little house in Indiana just steaming because Magic won it and he wanted to win it. So it's
Yeah.
crazy shit.
I mean, that's the thing with the NBA. I wouldn't say, because I can speak in terms of like other leagues. Like, for example, in the NHL, people just hate each other. Or you have like
It's the
Brad
Canadian culture.
Marchand just like spitting on people, biting people, whatever, getting in fist fights.
They're also psychotic too.
They're nuts, right? And that's part of what makes hockey entertaining, right? Is just that everyone just dislikes each other. People are all about the team, right? In the NBA, it's kind of like more of a players' league,
Yeah.
right? And everyone's like sort of talk and like those meetings, like going to the Olympics or All-Star Weekend, like a lot of stuff goes down over there.
It's
Like,
very capitalized. That's what I'm gonna say.
yeah, that's a great word
Yeah.
actually. But yeah, like I don't know if you listen to the Old Man in the Three, but recently Kendrick Perkins is on there. Wild show, by the way. With Kendrick Perkins, but what he was saying was that James Harden, after winning, well, not winning, winning the Western Conference, losing to the Heat, went to the Olympics that year, and that was
Oh,
where,
you're talking when he was on OKC, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and he essentially spoke with the Miami Heat big three and a bunch of other players, and they were just gassing up him up, saying like, "You need to find a new team. You need your own team," which was actually the right decision for him. But that sort of pushed him towards wanting to leave in free agency, get the max somewhere else.
LeBron was low key recruiting him.
Yeah, but no, but he said go to his own team,
Yeah.
right? And then that ended up being the right decision. But then the Thunder kind of fell apart.
I mean,
years
they
down the
were
line.
solid until 2016.
They were solid, but
Yeah.
what do you think would have happened if Harden was still on that team? And we've actually brought this up before, but what do you think would have happened?
So let me say this. So the Warriors kind of merged in 2015, so that would still give them like a 3 year span. And the Spurs, that's like one monster they would have to face. But if they developed Harden like the way he should have developed, and like gradually kind of like pushed them into the starting rotation with like the big two, Russell Westbrook and KD, so they could have surpassed them. And then like in the final test of the Miami Heat, maybe they would have gotten their revenge. Maybe they wouldn't have. It's like really hard to say because like like if you move to a different place, your performance is definitely different than if you stay. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's different to say that, but it's very possible that they could have cleared the Western Conference and beat like the Miami Heat. So
Yeah, it's such an unfortunate situation because right now, honestly, like the Warriors dynasty, it's there, but it's not like starting. It's definitely like I'm not saying it's like near the end of it, but
I
if
would say it's at the end of it.
I mean it's like on the like it's they're gonna have at least three more good years, and like you have good players on that team and whatever, right? But during the 2010s, like you had
I mean,
all
do
these
you think
dynasties. Come on.
Steph's 34, Clay's is early
Yeah,
30s, like
but Steph's
Trey
gonna
Young's
have
like
till at least
33.
he's 36, I think. And
So like 1 or 2 more years.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, like 1 or 2 more years of him being just as good as he is right now. Right. And
I mean, you have to see there is if history shows anything, let's not even talk about LeBron right now because he's so crazy at his age. If history taught us anything, players' primes usually start when they're around 27, and then it usually lasts until they're majority time 32, but sometimes players like Steph it's like 34, 35. But once you hit that 35-year-old benchmark, that's when your ability starts. Like Dwayne Wade spoke on this. He's like, when I reached that age, these young motherfuckers were like going back and forth, and I was just trying to catch my breath the entire time. I just didn't have the energy, like the conditioning. And like you have to realize like conditioning is so big in the NBA. You can have all the skill sets in the world, but if you don't have the stamina to keep up with the pace of the game, you're gonna be so fucked.
that's facts. But one thing I was thinking about earlier today, right, is that we're not factoring in the young guys that are on the Warriors right now,
Yeah.
right? In a similar way that I felt like the Spurs dynasty was extended because, once again, their big three was, or their big players were sort of still competent enough, but then they also had help from some younger guys, like most notably Kawhi Leonard, right?
The diva.
The diva, let's go. Do your best impression of a Kawhi laugh.
I'm doing that.
Yeah, that's
you
facts.
you do it.
Actually, I'm not okay. I'm not very good at that. I'm gonna try actually.
Okay, try go for it.
Okay,
That was
so
that was pretty solid. I'll give you an 8 out of 10 for that.
we're
Okay.
gonna go with that. But
That sounded more like 2011 Kawhi left than 2019.
oh, you check out. It's actually not our video,
Yeah,
so all credit to
yeah.
somebody else. But there's an evolution of
Kawhi,
Kawhi's
yeah.
laugh. Very inspiring stuff.
Very.
But just think of Jonathan Kaminga, who's had some massive
He's
games.
actually gonna be on. Sorry for cutting. He's actually gonna be on the summer league team with some of the other boys.
He I don't even think he needs to be.
Um,
Because he's had some really big games. I think he had an almost perfect game during the regular season, and he's had big moments during the playoffs, and he's very athletic,
yeah.
great
I don't think he
defender,
needs
wing
it, but
defender.
I don't think he's got enough minutes. So like they're kind of
Yeah,
giving him that like opportunity just to
yeah,
ball out.
absolutely. I think that actually is a very good argument.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna get better. I think he was on the Rising Star. He was in the Rising
Oh
Stars
yeah.
game this year. So I think he's just going to get better 2, 3 years down the line. You can have at the very least a productive wing, right? Which is way better than most teams can say.
Yeah.
Plus, you have Moses Moody who can do similar things. So they're going to get better. Jordan Poole is going to get better. Gary
I feel like
Payton's old, but like he's
I
getting
feel like
better.
Jordan Poole and Kaminga could be a duo to watch out for. I feel like their play styles because like Poole's a guard, Kaminga's a forward, like you just said. Like that combo could be pretty dangerous, like for years to come.
Okay, so Kaminga, Poole, and Weissman versus Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and Scotty Barnes.
Oh, I mean, right now I gotta give the Raptors just because of like experience. They're older. But like I'll be non-biased. I'll be fair. It could, tides could change. They could do some big stuff too. The only thing that matters is development. Like how hard do you want to work for? How much opportunity you're getting on the team, and what difference are you making? Like, are you like like are you a team player? Are you like enhancing your game? If they
Mhm.
do those things, they could definitely surpass them. One thing I want to say is like how Pascal rebounded after his injury. Like near the All Star break was he was like an All Star caliber player. So
Mhm.
that was really good to watch.
Yeah, I think it's amazing how well Siakam came back. Like he turned into a Julius Randle for a year.
Like
Like I'm talking about like classic Julius Randle, not like 2020, 2021 Julius Randle, like the standard Julius Randle you can get at your local Walmart, right?
yeah,
And he rebounded from that season, showed everyone that he was deserving of an all NBA recognition. And his improvement, coupled by the fact that Fred VanVleet played at an all-star level, as well as Scotty Barnes being a very good player, they were able to make it to the playoffs. I mean, it's amazing how quickly they've sort of rebounded.
yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know if they'll be championship contenders within the next 2 years, but
Oh, probably not. I
I
feel
think it all depends on
yeah.
Scotty Barnes.
Also depends on like, and I know majority free agent players don't want to come to Toronto and shit like that. But if he gets some like a big piece, you never know. I heard there were rumors that there was a potential trade going on between the Raptors and the Pacers, where the main asset that Toronto's trading is OG Anunoby, and then the Pacers are going to trade Miles Turner. And honestly, I love OG Anunoby a lot, but like we do need like a good big man, and Miles Turner is a very underrated big guy. So
Hmm
that could be a big thing for us.
would you want that?
I don't know, dude. I have sentiments towards OG Anunoby.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. There's something about that British motherfucker that just makes me happy. But Miles Turner would definitely be a good addition to our roster. But one
Yeah.
thing I want to add from the John Murray trade was, do you know who was the most upset about this trade?
Yo, tell me.
The Knicks.
The
they're,
Knicks
they're,
fans.
they really wanted Murray and like Randall to do something together. Which they're as delusional as Lakers fans. Like you remember that? What was that
No,
post
they're
with
worse.
Paulo? Was that post with Paulo? It was like Dwight Howard, Shaq. They were all from the Orlando Magic, first pick, and they all end up going to LA at some point in their
Yeah,
careers.
but the thing with Knicks fans, it's so fundamentally different from Lakers fans, is that when Lakers fans say stuff, there's always a small chance that it could happen
Yeah, there's
because
yeah,
they've had success in the past.
exactly.
With Knicks fans, it's never happening. Like they're the best thing that's happened to them in years is probably like I don't know, maybe
Carmelo
come
Anthony,
yeah, I was gonna think like Melo.
dude,
Um
that was so long ago.
I know, dude, Melo. Okay, do you watch Melo highlights at all?
Like Denver, New York,
Any of them, man.
Atlanta.
He was in Atlanta?
He was in Chicago with Atlanta. He didn't get any playing time because they just bought him out. He got
Oh,
traded right away.
yeah.
Yes,
He
and
was
he was
like
on Houston for like 10 games,
insane, man.
right?
I just love watching Melo because he's just the things he does with the basketball is like globetrotter
Yeah,
shit. Like
he's a,
it,
he's a big ball hog. I'll say that.
I mean, yeah, because he's like the best, considered one of the best isolation
Oh
players
yeah,
in the NBA.
yeah.
That was like his thing, but you can't play that way because I'm like, just play one on one there. You're not playing team
That's
basketball.
that's why he's so good when he wears a hoodie and he plays in that Black Ops gym. Hoodie Melo.
He's good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all. I remember someone telling me one time that Jason Tatum was just like a glorified version of Carmelo Anthony, but I don't know. I think he plays a little better than Carmelo Anthony.
I mean, dude, Melo in Denver was fucking insane. He was crazy. They could have made the finals, but then Kobe just was Kobe that year, so
Kobe, yeah.
just ended up losing.
Yeah, I watched this whole thing about like Kobe's career, and it was like three different segments. And I'm like, he was like I actually didn't know that the first like 4 years of his career he had Shaq, but it like took them a while to like
Yeah.
get going. And apparently Shaq got so upset that they kept losing in those first 4 years that he ripped out 5 urinals from a wall. What do you think about that?
It's a lot of years. Like, he's a big guy, so I could definitely see that happening. I don't know, like one of the compliments Shaq gets is that like that dude, like he was a monster, but like he was
Hmm
also known as like a jokey, like funny guy, like a
hmm
nice guy overall. If he was like an asshole, like a Karl Malone type of mentality, you gotta really fuck some people up, dude. Because Karl Malone's a douche. He did some horrible things too, which we're not gonna address. But I mean, Shaq was just like a really good guy.
Yeah, for sure. And I think he's also like he's one of the better analysts. Him and Chuck just get me going,
Oh,
man.
they're so funny, dude. Yeah,
They
for
are
sure.
so funny. So the other thing I was going to talk about today is what do you think about like new media? Like things like having, NBA players having podcasts, as opposed to, people like Nick Wright, Skip Bayless.
I think it's awesome because like we just talked about Chuck and Shaq, two former basketball players, and like analyzing is like one of those things that anyone can do it. I mean, like we're doing it right now. We're giving our perspective, but like at the same time, our perspective can mean jack shit compared to
Hmm.
someone who's been through it. If you have been in the league, you have played in the league for a while, you've seen the politics of the league, you have been around other NBA players, and then like your podcast and the way you're talking is with, like those NBA players, it's probably gonna be a more accurate depiction of everything. You know what I mean? Like I don't think what we're saying is wrong. We just see it and we just say it how it is, but like kind of being in that moment and kind of seeing how things are around you, like the pressure, like the highs, the lows, kind of just like the extensive period of your career. I feel like that's crazy. And like Draymond has a podcast, JJ Redick has a podcast, like Matt Barnes, like how high, I
Hmm.
don't know why he has a podcast too. And that's awesome. I love listening to them, like
Hmm.
I feel like some of them are a little more eccentric. Like Draymond is a little douchey in his podcast. Like, okay, bro, like you won four
Oh,
rings, we
no,
get it.
no chill, Gil.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that's a mix you gotta make. You gotta
Oh
make a
yeah,
Gilbert Arenas mix.
yeah. Just walk in the locker room.
Yeah. Um, but no, I absolutely agree with you. I think, especially with like JJ Redick. Oh my
Oh, dude,
God.
he's awesome. He's
Like
awesome.
I've never just been like, damn, I just love your takes. Like
Yeah,
I hate all takes,
yeah,
honestly, because I'm like I usually disagree with like a little bit,
exactly.
but I just feel like every time he says stuff, it's like the fucking voice of reason. Like
Yeah,
dude just knows what he's talking about.
and dude, when he was on First Take, he like reprimanded like Stephen A. Bro. He's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh,
What the
wait,
fuck are you
you
talking
know
about?
that there was like this one part where they had CJ McCollum
Yeah,
and JJ Redick
I thought
both
like
just
Pat Beverly too, right? Was that a different one?
no, that was
Oh,
different.
okay,
But
okay.
these two, okay, like you got CJ McCollum and JJ, who are just both extremely like thoughtful people
Yeah,
who think through things very well, are just smart. And then you have Stephen A. Smith,
yeah.
who is just fucking screams, right? And these two were just like just going at him for like just stupid fucking comments, right?
He's probably smart. He kind of needs to be put in his place for
They
sure.
do like okay, with Max Kellerman, I didn't like Max Kellerman, but him going off the set, he just brought in a bunch of other motherfuckers, right?
Yeah,
Who just scream.
yeah.
Like he brought Mad Dog Russo. First of all, that dude, oh my God, I has three fucking brain cells. That's all I'll say. He's convinced, I think he lives in like the 80s still,
Okay.
where he's convinced that there's no super teams right now, that there's no dynasties at all at the moment, that there's no all-time great teams at
That's
all.
respectfully stupid as fuck.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, looked at the Warriors. They won 4 championships in the last 8 years.
Yeah.
And he's just like, John Havlicek. Like, okay, great. I'm a Celtics fan, but that dude's like, how that dude's dead, actually.
He's also a
RIP
plumber
John
too.
Havlicek.
He's also a plumber too.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Dude, you
everyone's,
can't you can't compare any player from that era to like Steph. You can't
yeah.
compare any player from that era to like Clay, dude. It's just not
I just
possible.
hate when people are like, oh, Steph ruined the game. I'm like, dude, the game is played differently now and
Yeah.
it's played more
Like
interesting.
what do you want me to do? Not shoot threes?
Like,
Like
what was the game? What was the game? You had like fucking Manute Bol sitting in the center just dunking shit. Like,
bro, Manu hit like 6 threes in a row, dude, bro. It was fucking
and then
insane.
he died. He died.
Yeah, apparently he fought a lion or something. That's how he was killed.
What?
Yeah, dude, this is fucking crazy. Bobo actually talked about it in like a segment.
Oh
He
no.
was like, dude, yeah, my dad was like fighting a lion. He just dropped dead after that. Fucking sucks, yeah.
Yeah. I
What,
mean,
what do you think Bobo's future is?
oh man, I don't know. He recently failed his physical.
Oh
So,
shit! Like what? Like
well,
lifting, cardio?
I
Like
don't
what?
know. I think it's just like a general fitness thing to see if he can
Just
be
a
on a
pacer
team.
test.
Yeah. Oh, but like quite honestly,
Yeah,
I'm like he has the talent. Like he's played sometimes and he's done decently, but I just don't know if he's like NBA ready, honestly, just physically NBA ready.
You think you should like go in the G League, maybe just play
I
with
no, but
like
I mean, like, I don't even know. Like, I could see him just retiring for health reasons.
that's not good.
I know. I feel bad because I feel like he was supposed to be a lot better than he's
Yeah,
just
he
not
had
had a
some
chance to
good time
show
in
it.
Oregon. So
Yeah, I mean, he was supposed to be like a lottery pick, I think,
yeah, and he drops like a second round.
deep in the second round too.
I
And
think
he's a
44th. Could be wrong.
yeah. I mean, it's upsetting because I know that everyone thought he was going to be a lot better, and um, he can shoot, and I think he played small forward one game,
That's
for the
crazy.
Nuggets, yeah, because the
That's
Nuggets
crazy.
went with a all big lineup, but like a super big like lineup, which is all 7 footers.
That reminds me when the Rockets had the all-time short line where PJ Tucker was center.
Dude, PJ Tucker is
Bro
center.
was like
Oh my
six
god.
five.
There was
Yeah.
this meme I saw, and it was like this fucking super saturated picture of PJ Tucker. And just like you got beat by PJ Tucker to center. It should made me laugh.
Yeah.
Oh man. Dude was guarding well, I mean, Rudy Gobert never gets the ball, so
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know what PJ Tucker's
Unless he
guarding.
rebounds it, then he gets it.
Yeah. Oh, what do you think about Utah? What do you think they're gonna do with that whole situation?
Bro, I think Spider needs to leave, dude.
Do you think Spida needs to leave?
No, I don't like. I don't
Or
like.
do you think
I mean, like for his like sake, not for like Utah. Like Utah needs Spider. Like Spider needs to like go somewhere else just to revive his career, dude. He has that dude has done everything he possibly can to keep falling short of like passing. Like going further in the playoffs. So I think that's the situation. I think they just need to have a rebuild, dude. Let Rudy go. Let Spider go. Get some like picks. Get some mediocre players back, and just start a rebuild. Bro, it's fucking Utah. No one
I
cares.
know. I just feel like people start rebuilds so early now. Like,
Do you think
th
they should keep like them and just keep the process
well,
going?
I just always thought that if you're gonna start a rebuild, it's when you
Yeah,
have like for example, I love Dame,
yeah.
but the Trailblazers need to let Dame go. I feel like if they don't get someone like a KD, right, it's time to start the whole thing.
Bro,
Like,
that'd be crazy.
I mean, yeah, but they need
Imagine
to
the big three in that team: Jeremiah Grant, KD, and Dame. That'd be pretty crazy.
yeah, but the likelihood of that happening is probably low, right?
Especially if
And
Kyrie
and yeah,
resigns.
and Dame is in his 30s now. Now is the time you trade him for
If
picks.
it's Dame Doll too, oh gosh.
Yeah. You got to trade him to Denver, trade him to
Yeah,
Milwaukee, right? Do
yeah,
something where you put him in a situation to
yeah,
win. You get picks, you make Anthony Simons your
yeah,
starting point guard.
yeah. Yeah, so like going back to your rebuilding point, like why they started so early, I think the main reason they do it is because in this like era of basketball, you're not gonna have that many players like Dame. When I say that, I mean like loyalty wise. I mean that dude like it'll be like 3,000 and he'll still be on the fucking Portland Trailblazers because he doesn't fucking want to leave. But like majority of the players, if they don't have that much success with their respective teams, they were gonna like want to see their opportunities elsewhere. Like maybe some because legacy is everything.
Hmm.
So like when teams rebuild, they're like, okay, it's better to like send this guy off right now, get something back, unless like he hits free agency, he just leaves, we get absolutely nothing. So I think that's like the main reasoning behind it.
Yeah, I mean that's fair, and I do think because like recently, if you've noticed, the past rebuilds, like they traded. How old was Russell Westbrook when OKC decided to just blow it
Trade
all
to
up?
like 2018, so it's like 29, 30 ish.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
29, 30-ish, right? But as soon as Zion Williamson, who wasn't even playing, right? When they made this decision, they were like, he hates the Pelicans. He wants out. My dog is like our age, dude.
Yeah.
Now is not when you do that.
But do you think that's just like media like stirring up shit?
That's my thing. It just makes the media look worse than they already are, right? They were like, oh, Luka Doncic might want out. People started making these fucking trade packages of Luka Doncic. I'm like, dude, no, he's not leaving yet. He hasn't even like had to critically think about that yet,
Yeah.
right? And recently with DeJounte Murray, I don't know if he ask for a trade.
No, dude, he was like shocked because he saw that because the original rumor was what we were talking about in the last episode, where like the Jonte Murray is gonna go to the Hawks and they're gonna get like John Collins back, and then he kind of like retweeted that in like these eye emojis, so he was like pretty surprised too. And I think he liked playing in San Antonio with Pop, but like some things are out of Pop's like like decision making.
Yeah,
So
I mean Murray's fucking 26 years old. You don't that's like prime age. You get DeJounte Murray help.
yeah,
You don't trade DeJounte Murray. And that too, you don't trade him for fucking Danilo Gallinari. They really
that was
just
pretty
blew things up.
disrespectful.
I
Yeah,
mean, they were headed in the right direction. They have like Vassell. They just got a new first round pick. They have DeJounte Murray there. They have all the pieces they need to potentially make an even bigger trade. They could have started contending next year, maybe not for the championship,
for playoffs.
but for the playoffs, right? Because they're already so close.
Exactly.
Like that's just a stupid decision. Now it's just gonna take way longer. I wouldn't be surprised if they trade Shea at this point, honestly.
Oh, okay, see.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because
Yeah.
he's like 24 or something, 25.
I mean, true, but like, dude, Sam Presti is like an OG, dude. Like, he has so many picks. I feel like that could be like enough, like guaranteed to like, like keep him around. Be like, yo, we got so many players. We just got like Chet Holmgren. We're gonna develop them. Just bear with us. We'll keep you happy. And like, I think that's just how it goes. I feel like OKC could make some noise this season.
I feel like it's possible
Yeah.
too. I'm really excited to see how Chet does.
Yeah, same.
How Josh Giddey, Lou Dort, and Shea does.
Give me a shot.
You
Give
know,
me a shot.
it's just but once again, right? Like they trade people so early after there's like not an immediate like
impact.
Yeah, and I think that's just kind of dumb. You know, it's just it's so impatient and it ruins everything, and it just makes it so that like is the difference between being in the playoffs and as you get through the rounds and whatever is such a small difference. Like Draymond was saying on his last podcast that basically like those people that win the finals, right? I'm talking about a different level here, but the finals, like the difference is so small. It's like the smallest advantage that lets people win because everyone's doing so well.
Except 2018.
But I can almost guarantee you there too. Like, the Warriors had a massive advantage in 2018. Yeah. It's not even fair.
There was no Kyrie. Love was just, I don't know, like a ball sack that year. That's all I can say. But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But like, going back to your patient process, I feel like one team that really fits that description as reap the benefits is the Golden State Warriors because they kept that trio. And, they got KD, they got some other players, but like, bro, they really worked on Steph and Clay, and like also like Draymond, like like defensive wise and like IQ.
And they also benefited from the fact that team was successful.
Yeah.
Right, because nowadays, if a team doesn't win a championship, they break it up super fast.
I mean, they weren't successful like until 2015, and like Steph was drafted in 2009, Clay was drafted in 2011, and yes, they did go to the playoffs, but like they didn't go that far before 2015.
And that's once again like they were patient too.
Yeah.
They were patient, but then once they had the success, they continued with it.
Okay, so kind of going on that, like I have to ask you a question. How do you think organizations can like kind of like deliver what you just said? Be like, you stick with us, be patient. We will develop you. We'll draft some other players that like will fit like your playing style. And then we will be championship caliber in the near future. How do you like convince a player that like have like a verbal like 5-year commitment to stick with us? How would you do that if you're like a GM?
Well, I think it has to be a relationship between the player that you're trying to keep on the team.
It's like a more of a personal or just like a professional relationship?
I'm
both.
Yeah, I mean both, because you got to have trust in the front office, and you got to trust the front office, and the front office has to trust that you're going to stay there to make those decisions, right? Like I don't understand how Dame has done this, but he sticks with them, and that's like not a great example because he's definitely not in the top group. But then you can also think about like maybe Devin Booker for an example.
I mean, he's reaped the benefits. But
he needed help. He got the help, and he did go to the finals. Like, it takes like a common kind of trust. But people sign much smaller contracts than in the past. Like, I felt like it was much more common for people to sign like 6-year, whatever, $1 million contracts.
Scottie Pippen's bogus deal, like 17 million per 7 years.
Yeah, that's very different though. But like even Kobe's first contract with the Lakers or extension with the Lakers, like 6 years, 76 million or something like that. Right. But you don't see people signing like 6-year contracts anymore.
I mean, you have like those, like 5-year super maxes. Like, Giannis signed one. I think JT signed one.
JT signed one too. That was like an extension. But people just signing like long-term contracts that are exceed 4 years is like less common.
Yeah.
And that's sort of
on where future's headed, I guess. Like where you see yourself, or the organization sees you. If those two things align, then like a long-term contract is definitely like the way to go. But if those don't align, then like it's like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, recently I was seeing that Miles Bridges might get traded to the Pistons. What do you think about that?
Who would they get back?
Actually, sorry, not traded. It'd be like a sign and
Sign and
trade or
trade.
like something like that. But basically, the Pistons would land Miles Bridges while also maintaining like Cade Cunningham.
That's awesome. Man. Good for the Pistons.
I think Jaden Ivey.
And personally, I wouldn't want to like play for Detroit, but like
He's from Flint, Michigan, though.
oh shit. Oh, so is Draymond too. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so like he's
Just
from
don't drink the
Michigan.
water there.
Oh my God. Hey, Kyle Kuzma drank that water. He's a beast.
Oh, true,
Oh
true.
my God. He was chugging that water.
Fuck,
My
dude.
dog fucking survived off that
What
water.
a fucking monster. Yeah.
Absolutely a beast everywhere. But
What do you say that?
but yeah, do you think that sort of do you think the Pistons are actually going to be good next year?
If they keep their core, they could be good in the future. But like,
I mean, what do you think about head coach Dwayne Casey?
I just think. He doesn't really have a lot. He's not a bad coach. He's not. He's not like a like amazing coach. I do kind of feel bad for him because like right after he won Coach of the Year, he was I've never heard of that, but we still we still won the championship.
What more do you want
What
from
more do
me?
you want from me? Yeah, yeah. That was kind of funny, but like I feel like he's just like one of those coaches that like he's not gonna do anything extra. He's just gonna kind of work with what he's got, and he doesn't have jack shit in Detroit right now. Like he has a lot of young assets that can be developed to something else. Like he can, I think he can be a fucking superstar. The people they drafted, like in this year's draft can also be, good, but like that's gonna take time. It's gonna take resources, something that
Mhm.
Detroit doesn't have that much of. So
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all you have all these like smaller, younger teams, and they're like kind of scary, but like you think about like the Hornets, and I was like, the Hornets recently got coach Steve Clifford after they agreed to deal with Kenny Atkinson.
oh yeah.
And I was like, okay, you got like Kenny Atkinson, right?
But
Well,
he was in Charlotte before too, right?
Steve Clifford was.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think he
yeah.
was Kemba's coach, like his
Yeah,
first
yeah, that's what
coach.
I'm saying. Yeah.
But Kenny Atkinson was supposed to be the coach, and
Hey, what happened? Like, did he just back out, or did like
he just
Charlotte?
backed out because he's a
Oh, he
Warriors
wanted to stay.
assistant,
He wanted to stay with. Yeah, he wanted to stay with.
right?
Yeah,
Right,
the Warriors.
and got a mosquito, boys.
Mono Ginobili right here.
But yeah, he was the Warriors assistant coach,
Yeah.
and he agreed to do it. And I don't know like how much you know about Kenny Atkinson. He's one of my favorite coaches who is still available but has just not been a head coach. He was the player development coach for the
He was the head coach of the Nets.
yeah, that was the Nets that were fucking dead
Yeah.
for years, right? After just getting absolutely fleeced by the Celtics, right? And they got D'Lo, they got
That was a
like
fun team
Karis
to
LeVert.
watch.
Yeah, it was a freaking great team to watch. I mean, they were
That
just
Jared Dudley versus Ben Simmons beef was something
dude,
else.
they got in a
Yeah.
fist. That was the most aggressive I've seen Ben Simmons
Jared
ever.
Dudley, bro. Looks like a milk dud, bro. Dudley.
My dude looks like a fucking mound.
Yeah. Almond Mountain.
Oh, for real. I ordered some the other day, actually. They're really good.
Did you hear like so like Jalen Brown was doing like Q&A with like one of like a fan or something? And then like he asked Brian Myers like, do you think I could like beat any NBA players 1v1? And he's like, bro, like you know how good we are, like like our training process, how much we fucking play this sport. And this fan was like, what about Jared Dudley? He's like, oh come on, don't do my boy like that.
Wait,
Jalen was laughing so much, yeah.
I don't know if you saw the 1v1s between Brian Scalabrine and like just random like gym
Not
pickup. So someone was like, I want to like I bet like $100 I can like beat you or something like that, right? In 1v1. Brian Scalabrine is like, all right, is like fully dressed in like jeans,
yeah.
right? Cooks a dude to 21 and then says,
It's like
I'm closer to
Jordan.
LeBron
Oh,
than you
LeBron,
are
yeah.
to me. And that was the funniest thing. Cause dude, I mean, if you're getting paid $1 billion to play basketball, like
Kinda
come
have to be
on
good,
now.
very, very good at that sport.
Yeah, like even the 13th guy off the bench is
Bro,
cooking
like
me.
G League bench players could cook anyone, dude. Like they're
Oh
just
my
that
god,
good.
yeah, like Corey Joseph,
Yeah.
man. Corey Joseph is cooking me like an omelet.
Bro, he's fucking annihilating me, dude.
All right. So we gotta wrap this up, but I gotta ask you, right?
Yes, sir.
Who do you think the top three rappers?
Oh. Hey guys, welcome to episode 6. I'm very excited to be here. Kosh, what's going on right now?
Nothing much, man. How are you?
I'm just chilling, just going to the gym.
Hoopers or rappers hooping.
Okay.
Give me the top
Before
three.
top three, number one, give me J. Cole because he is playing for the Canadian League right now. Number two, give me Chris Brown. Number three, fuck, dude. It's definitely not Drake. Just fucking put Drake out of there. You know what? I'm going with Lil Durk.
I was gonna ask. I was like, I thought you put Lil Durk second.
Nah, dude. Sorry. Chris Brown is fucking amazing.
Really? I haven't even seen Chris
Bro, you
Brown
should
play.
see. You know the Drew League, right?
Hmm?
You know the Drew League?
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
yeah. So like, but like,
That was the one where Kobe had like 55 or
yeah,
something.
like, dude, like, it's a lot of NBA
Yeah.
players, like LA natives, but like three noticeable players, that play there. J. Cole, obviously. The Game, which we have a mix on Instagram. Bro, Chris Brown, dude, he was cooking some people, dude. He's fucking insane.
Hmm.
He just loves beating the ball on the court, bro.
Yeah, he likes beating other people too.
What about you? Give me your top three before you end this.
So I'll say, does Dame count?
No, no.
He's a rapper
Miles
though.
Bridges, Dame don't count.
Okay, so I'll go with J. Cole first just because he is he played pretty well.
He also tried out with the Pistons too.
Yeah, yeah, he actually tried out for the Magic too. There was Terrence Ross had like this TikTok video
Yeah.
and he was just like J. Cole's at my practice.
So I'm guessing you got a Lil Durk number two.
Yeah, I got a little Dirk number two, and I'll say Jack Harlow number three.
Bro, fuck that. Dude.
Yeah, I'm saying Jack Harlow number
flat.
three. Jack Harlow number
White
three.
boy can't jump. White boy can't jump.
But he can shoot. But he can shoot.
Okay, I'll give you that.
All right. So we're gonna wrap this up. But I just wanted to say thank you all for watching. Please make sure that you follow our Instagram. That's at _can basketball. Go to our YouTube channel, the Can Basketball Podcast. We got some nice shorts there, and we post a bunch of videos there too.
And have a amazing and safe 4th of July.